I need to say something. I am so happy that I finally have someone to come home to.
Wait. Did I make this all up in my head? He was the love of my life, you know? And we were gonna get married.
You were together for 2 months.
It was 2.5 months, Noni. And you know it.
You're single now. Girl, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
I'm single now.
Yeah.
Dad's name Oliver, cause you gonna be all over this.
How is this enough for you?
You're stuck in a fairy tale. These guys don't love you. They use you and then they throw you away and you let them.
No, what if he's the one?
Actually, we should stop.
Sorry. I mean, we could stop tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow works.
Tomorrow.
I didn't recognize you with the wig on. You're desperate, babe.
To be done with me! Yes! I'm okay!
Hello, subbies. I hope you guys are good. Welcome to the tribe. Finally, we do episode 2 because I've been saying that I'm going to do episode 2. So the Mimi that I was talking about, you guys actually finally get to meet because she's one of the reasons why the tribe actually started. So Mimi, there she is, the love of my life. We've been friends for over a decade, probably over a decade. To me, I think my counting is bad, but we've been friends for a while. Somewhere there, bro. And then there is Epi2, another love of my life. Epi2, it feels like we've been friends for 20 years.
It does feel like it. Oh my goodness, my life is a telenovela.
So the reason why I'm reviewing this movie is because my topic today is about relationships. So I thought, as an intro to this topic, I thought, how about we actually review this wonderful movie that we've all watched. I honestly, guys, to be honest with you guys, I think Seriously Single is the best I've ever actually watched in South Africa. I don't know how you guys feel about the movie.
I almost didn't watch it because South Africa does the most horrible movies ever.
Me too.
I know.
It pissed me off.
That you two have the most different views about relationships.
Oh my
so
goodness.
No, always, you guys, we are hopeless romantics. No, always.
Oh yes.
Head over heels about love. Mimi is in love. She loves love, but she's literally not like us. She's like, oh, guys, whatever.
Why?
Oh, guys, I am Dineo.
You are.
But I've never stalked a guy.
Me and you both. I feel like before I actually got married, I had like 5 husbands before. Because every boyfriend would be like, my husband died.
We walk into relationships thinking this is going to be like forever. Like, this is the last person that I'm ever going to be with. Look at Umimi. Look at Umimi's face. She's annoying me, but I'm going to get to her now. We walk into relationships thinking, okay, this is it. This is the rest of my life. This is the person that I'm going to have my babies with. And then, boom, guy is actually not even in the same train as
There were so many red flags there. There were red flags from the beginning of their relationship. There were red flags. Guy, she was clear about what she wanted, and I applaud her for that. And he was clear. There were signs. There were red flags. He was clear about what he wanted.
Yeah.
In terms of his actions, he showed, instead of talking, he showed what he wanted, and the girl just went for it anyway, and that pissed me off.
Now I feel like Ulunga led Dineo on. I feel like Ulunga read Dineo. Dineo was an open book because Dineo proved and showed that what she's looking for is marriage. Her main goal in is looking for marriage. Yes, I understand what you're saying, Memes, when you say there were a lot of red flags, because looking at it from outside, honestly speaking, there were a lot of red flags, especially when he says, no, you don't need somebody to come home to, but you need somebody to go home with. And I'm like, oh, already now. And that's when I was like, with that, this is not going to work out. But
there were a lot of red flags on that relationship from the beginning. Even though Dineo was honest, but also she did see that Ayman Lumfana is technically not being what he says he wants in a relationship. So even though there were red flags and Dineo acted like she didn't see them, she really saw them, but she chose to ignore all these red flags because, she was in this phase of, I'm so in love with my man. I'm going to move. Did you see how many boxes came out each time a relationship ended? It's like she moved in.
Within 2 months. Within 2 months.
Imagine.
But
She was
no, but
already
guys,
so comfortable.
but now this is my question though. At the same time, I understand the red flags. I understand everything. But do you guys really blame Dineo for falling for that guy? Do you guys blame?
No, definitely not. I don't.
In general, let's never mind the fact that it's a movie because obviously, yeah, actor, that's not reality. But now, in reality, as you all said, we have identified me as the Dineo we know.
It's a bit desperate-ish thing to do. Especially now Dineo, she was acting all desperate. She was you can't be like that. You can't. I know that on the first date you have to be open and all that, but she was just too much information, too revealing, too desperate, and trying to make Ulunga the man she wants,
Now, I say I'm Dineo because I'm literally like a living out of like reality Dineo.
Yeah.
I fall like that. It's like I breathe and then already send a picture of my life with this person. I already see our future kids. If there was a place where I could put my picture and his picture and already see how our kids would be, I would be doing that. And I think it comes with how your heart is. I wear my heart on the sleeve. Everything for me is like, I was already sharing like my blood type on our second date. Like, this is my blood type. I'm an only child. Can I see your mama? All of these things. And luckily, I want to say luckily for me is I met the same person. We met, I think we met in 2009 and we got married the following year. I think he proposed after 2 months. So we had 2 months.
So are you trying to tell me, Olu, to that?
Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me that there are men like us. It's not that.
No, it's not just women that are Dineos.
There are
Dineos, whether it's a man or a female. If you ask somebody who I dated, I'm sure they will tell you I did post my life in their lives in some point. But there are all Dineos out there. I'm a Dineo. My husband is a Dineo. There's some of my exes are not Dineos, but that's a story for another day.
So my friend, in as much as yes, I am a Dineo, I don't dispute that. But at the same time, I sort of see my mistakes when it comes to relationships. I think I understand why certain relationships didn't work. Because there's a part where Dineo literally just says to her friend that I can't not get married. I'm getting old. I need to get married. Like the main priority here is I need to get married. And I think that's the biggest problem that I've had, where most people, when I saw all of my friends were getting married and everybody was just moving on with their lives and everybody had their families and kids and everything, I was like, when am I getting married? And the main reason why I dated was because I needed to get married. Like, I had to get married. So I understand that desperation and that feeling of Dineo did sort of compare her life to social media. Do you guys agree with me if I would say that social media also plays a big role in how we actually shape or look at relationships?
It does. Like I saw a post somewhere, I think it was on Facebook or Twitter, where somebody asked, why is it that relationships of these days do not last as long as the relationships of our grandmothers and grandfathers? The problem is our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't have Facebook. They didn't have Instagram. They didn't have all these things where they would be like, this one is going on a vacation. Why can't I go on a vacation? This one is getting a push present. Why can't I get a push present? So they had no room for them to compare with anybody. Whereas in our generation, that you're going to click onto Facebook. The first thing you see is Bud Bay and Sis Bay. They're out on a vacation because Sis Bay just had a baby. Our grandmothers literally saw somebody next door. They were in their garden. They just had a baby. Their sole purpose in life was to make sure that their family is happy and that their partner is happy. Whereas for us, everything around us kind of influence how we view everything. And we don't necessarily take it from people that are close to us, like our neighbors and friends and parents. everything that's happening close to us, we literally just have blindfolds over it. And then we decide, no, I want to follow that couple on Instagram. And there's so many couples that have pages on Facebook and Instagram. Like, why can't I dance with my man like they dance? All those silly things that they do. Whereas you know where you got him from. Why do you want to compare? You can't expect a man from Paris, whereas you got them from Mdantsane. It does not work that way. So you can't, Kaloksan.
I think Dineo had a lot of influence from the social media and also her mother. I think that's the biggest problem. I think ukhule engumuntu o influenceka easily. Into yonke that is happening around her. That she needs counseling. So when her colleague suggested that, I was like, yes. Please, yes.
Just go. Invest in your healthy mind.
No, Tomyam, you are also bringing another point that I actually also wanted to ask, that your family and your environment, the way you've grown up, also shapes how you look at relationships. Because, for example, for Mna, I think also that was also another issue for me, because I had a lot of good examples of good relationships in my life. Besides my parents, I'm not even talking about my parents. I'm talking about people in my life in general, people in my circle. I'm talking about family friends. I'm talking about my actual friends. I had beautiful examples of relationships. And I thought, oh my gosh, you understand? But meanwhile, I didn't come from a healthy marriage. You know what I mean? So in as much as I saw what it looked like to be in a healthy relationship, but I myself could not be that. And hence why my relationships ended. So
for me, my upbringing was very dermakar, to the point that I was raised in almost like 3 different homes. My mom had me when she was young. She was a single mother. And then my dad was alive, but his presence wasn't. Like Dakota lyrics from a song. So and then my aunt and her husband, who didn't have children, they pretty much took me when I was pretty young, and then they raised me. So they had kind of like a solid marriage from the surface. My aunt's husband was a pastor, so they had like the typical pastor church-like marriage, where I was not even allowed to watch like scenes with sex or kissing. I remember in Generations, if somebody would kiss, my dad would be like, "Hambo tati komiki," like randomly, out of nowhere. Like so it's like, it was like that. So for me, I don't even think it was, because my dad never even showed affection. The most affectionate thing he would do was like take the washing and go and hang it in the line. That was him being romantic. But now at the age that I am, I know being romantic is you better come home with flowers for me. But even though I know I went to the Willow Vale in the Transkei and I got a man from there, but I still secretly expect my Gajana person to bring me flowers.
Bring you flowers.
Like, seriously.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I've built my own persona of what I think a relationship is supposed to be. Yes, partner is supposed to be. Even though at home, everything that I believe in now, I didn't really have at home. My parents are still married even now. So they still are in a relationship. When I go home, my dad makes like coffee for my mom.
The environment that you grew up in has a big influence on how you view relationships. It can be good, it can be bad. You can take exactly, but sometimes no. You see, I know me and my sisters, I have 2 sisters, and we all have different views of a relationships.
Okay.
Although we grew up, and all of that comes from what we grew up seeing. Sonke silapha, but sonke we took this different points. Yeah. Comparing my relationship with my parents. Look, my parents made my other sister not want to get married. But growing up in a warm house, warm home, warm family made me and my other sister get married, and you see,
I see what you mean. see what you mean. I see what you mean.
So yeah, it does have an impact on how you see love.
So,
in
Mimi, you're
the-
trying to say, my friend, that everyone shapes their own perfect relationship.
Mm.
Okay.
You choose. It's a choice. You choose which part you take.
Do you think that I need to be alone for me to find myself, or being with, even though I'm with somebody, I could still find who the real Bianca is or who the actual Bianca is whilst there's somebody in my life? Do you think I could juggle both?
Everyone has their own moment.
Okay.
You can find yourself alone. You can find yourself in a relationship. It's your destiny.
Okay.
We can't play with that. It's now I found myself while I'm in this marriage that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And I would lie if I said I knew myself when I was single. I didn't know myself when I was single.
Yeah.
Because I was alone. I was
Okay.
single. I was in lonely years, but there were things that in a relationship you don't know that you would tolerate. You don't know that they would change.
No, it's very possible to find yourself in a relationship. You can still find yourself when you're single. That means you need to really work hard at just introspecting and finding yourself. I'm not the same person I was when I got married. I was flipping 18 years old. Like, I still want to ask my parents, what lever did they have to let me get married at 18? So the
18,
person,
what are you guys thinking?
all my friends were like, yay, we're gonna drink alcohol. That time I was like, yay,
Yeah.
go baby. So the person that I was when I was 18 and the person that I am now, totally different people. So at some point in my marriage, I did find myself, and then you find yourself, and then you have to find yourself. Who am I? Who is Olotu in this relationship? I'm Olotu an individual. Then I need to find myself. Who am I in this marriage? Because as a wife as well, you kind of evolve, and then you change, and then you adopt a lot of things. Then you have to kind of say, okay, this is Olotu in this marriage. This was Olotu 5 years ago in the same marriage, but this is Olotu now in this marriage 10 years later. So you find yourself in, as a person, you grow as well, you mature, you find that you like what you liked back in 5 years ago, you don't like now. So you are able to find yourself in this marriage. But then it comes to that point that the person that you're with needs to also accept that the person that I married 10 years ago is not the person that I'm with now.
That you were 10 years ago is obviously not the person that you are now. But now, are you trying to tell me that it's possible that you may fall out of love with the husband that you're married with, if that is the case? If you find yourself in your marriage, for example, if I were to be married and I found myself in marriage, do you think that it's possible now for me to say, okay, no, I don't want this husband anymore? Like, this is not the husband that I wanted.
It's not a matter of want, and I feel like if a person tries and describe marriage as it's just love, there's so a lot that goes in a marriage. I have fallen out of love with that person I don't know how many times in the past decade, because you grow and then they piss you off, and then you're like, I understand the mangoku, and then 2 days later you remember how he was when you were sick or during this situation, and then that thing inside of you grows again. So out of the 10 years that I've been married, I have fallen out of love with him. I don't know how many times. But then just because our marriage was not just built on love, I stayed because I liked him. I liked him as a human being. I liked what he did for me. I liked what he did for our family. I liked what he did for our house. Even before we had kids, I liked him. So when love went out the window, I was like, I still like you. I'll still sleep next to you. I'll still give you the cookie. I'll still kiss you. But then I'll find love once I click with that something in you. So I've fallen out of love, Nasham, so many times.
So you are trying to tell me, my friend, that the spark can also die at times.
You!
Like,
I'm still looking for the honeymoon phase.
I'm
It
listening,
dies.
miss. Yeah,
It dies. It dies.
You man, get guys. Like, and how do you differentiate between, okay, the spark has died, but we can still continue, or the spark has died and I don't think this is gonna work anymore? At what point do you guys get, like, at what point I'm not even talking just about marriage, and I hope my subbies understand that this is not just about marriage. It's literally also about relationships, because you can be in a committed relationship with a person and still handle the relationship as though you guys are married, especially if you guys want to be committed to each other. It happens where the spark dies. So I want to understand at what point.
It's the commitment that when you make. This thing is like even studying. Books are hard, but you keep pushing because you committed yourself to this. It's the same as relationships. When you commit yourself to someone, you're gonna make it work. You're gonna try and make it work. Bruh, love dies.
Yes, preach. Tell them.
You stop loving someone, but you just think you're there. And the thing that I learned is that you can learn to love someone.
Yeah.
The moment it's difficult to even learn, then you know that
it's not.
No. If you can't tolerate anything, and it's just difficult, then you know it's time to go.
As I said, I've fallen out of love a million times when in this marriage, even in the relationships prior to my marriage. And the spark dies. The spark is just, when you just have got like a new dress and you look all cute in it. After 5 washes, you're like, so a relationship is kind of like that new dress. So if you don't learn to love it, if you don't learn to let me just add a belt to this dress now so I can just add a little bit spark to it. If you don't learn to do that, then maybe it's time for you to be single, and it's time for you to look within yourself as to why you can't find it in you to find a spark into this relationship that you're in. There's always a spark. There's always something. Like, you'd be like, his lips are so cute, and then automatically the spark kind of grows from that. Oh, I love how he massages my feet, and then the spark kind of grows from that. The spark will die. If for you the spark dies and you decide, I'm leaving, then you need to be single, my sis.
In closing, ladies, obviously I'm the only single one here, so nobody expects advice from me. You too.
You're not single.
Each one, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Each one of you. Each one of you. I know. Obviously, people that are dating also have good advice, when it comes to relationships. But
they do.
As married people now, because I'm speaking to married people. As married people, each one of you guys are going to explain to me, or rather, give us advice as to, like, what to expect when you get into marriage, and what are the do's and don'ts that you guys have picked up? What have you guys learned? Since you guys are married now, what have you guys learned in marriage?
Relationships ngumsebenzi zonke. It's double in marriage.
Yeah.
People change. You have to accept that people change, and you have to communicate. Say that I feel like this. I'm not the person I was last year. I've changed. A, B, and C. And your person must understand that, Nyani, people do change. Like, marriage is it's not easy. All of us, I'm sure we've all thought of the D word at some point. It's like way too many times, like, oh yes, I wouldn't mind the D word right now. I wouldn't mind divorce right now. That is all of us, but we don't go through with it. But because we know that it requires so much work, and it's a commitment. You're committed to this person. I'm not saying make a zela in nonsense. No, don't do that. But respect each other. Respect, communicate, know your places. And
no, it's not Takalani Street, that one. It's not Sesame Street. It's not all roses and violets. It's not all cute. Don't see us on Facebook wearing matching outfits and think we have it all figured out. It is difficult. It's hard work. You need to work towards it. There's a lot of times that I've also thought about the D word. I'm like, but then you think about all the things that you shared with this person, all the love you have for them, and then you're like, okay, let me put on my big girl panties and try and work harder. Also, communication. I have a problem with the word you need to communicate. If I say, Bianca, your hair looks red, and then when you say, no, it doesn't, it looks amber, and then you're not even thinking of looking in the mirror and check what I said about your hair if it's really real. So communication is like a two-way street. If I say something else and then the person doesn't take it the same way, it also kind of causes conflict. So you need to work hard. See how goals are in this relationship, but you look cute doing it. But you need to also find a partner that's going to be there for you during all the difficult times. Like for me now, I'm going through the ultimate most. My husband needs to drive me to radiation every single day for 5 days, chemo once a week. There's days where I can't even do much. And you need to find a partner that's going to be like, even did you change the baby's diaper, I don't feel up to it. They need to be willing to say, you know what, my wife is not feeling so great today, or my partner is not feeling so great today. I need to be able to dig in there and change the baby's diaper. So it's I don't even believe in 50-50. I don't want half of you. It's
Same,
100-100. You need to bring 100% of you. I'm going to bring my 100% of me. And then we put it together and then we create this life that we both desire. That we have to work hard towards as well. You'll see how goals are.
Lady, I appreciate this interview so much, even though we gave this minute disturbances, but it's still fine. I understand.
We have kids.
I get that. I'm speaking to parents here. I'm speaking to women with responsibility. So thank you guys so much for this interview. Thank you so much for availing yourselves in your busy schedules
Not
because
a
you're very
problem.
busy people. To my subbies, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this session. We're not trying to say that relationships are bad. We're not trying to say that don't get into it, because being with somebody that you love is the most beautiful thing in the entire world. Please guys, subscribe, like, and share. I love you
Can
guys.
you
We
I
read
still
love
want
this?
both
our
of
Can you
you.
read
roses.
this? Can you read this?
Self
Um,
love and remove your finger.
is your
Self
superpower.
love is your superpower.
Love
It
flower is
is.
Guys, did
love
you?
It
flower.
That's
is.
me. The last message to you guys. Self love is your superpower. So love yourself
Yes.
so that you can be a good partner to your partner. Because also that's also another thing that we have to learn, you guys. If you love you, you'll be able to love somebody else, and then somebody else will be able
Yes.
to love you too. So
Yes.
with all of that said, with all of that information given to you guys, we have to unfortunately end it here. And yeah, man, see you guys next time.